Hello. I have spent a countless amount of hours in my life consuming media. All types, movies, games, books, anything else there is, I've probably gotten a piece of it. You know, we all have. Over the years, I have come into contact and bought a bunch of comic books and manga, and I have all of it lined up. I'm not going to show you because it's a mess right here, but I'm going to go through all of it, just talk about what I remember, what I liked, what I didn't like, just a general overview of all these things that I own, and just some memories that are probably attached to a lot of them. I've got Marvel, DC, some Image comics. I've got not as much manga, but things I do have I think are pretty cool to just share. So I mean, if you're, you know, if you like it, like the video. But yeah, I mean, let's see what we could start off with. Actually, I'm just gonna start off with the comics because I have my comic stuff just closer and it's gonna be a lot easier. Look, I only have one Supergirl comic. I'm just gonna get it over with since I talk about Supergirl a lot on this channel. But this one, Supergirl Volume 1, The Girl of Steel, from Jeff Loeb, Kelly Churchill Ratmond. This first volume is not it. Right off the bat, it's honestly just very confusing. Honestly, if you're not familiar with the character, reading this for the first time, it's very confusing. And that's what it was for me. There were a lot of characters, people, places, and events that just kind of happened. For example, there's just this random arc in here where Superman and everybody in it is just evil, and he's like this tyrant that's just I don't even remember. It just wasn't good, and it came out of nowhere. Nothing flows together. And one of the also weird things about it is this comic goes out of its way to show that Supergirl is in fact a teenage girl, and they draw her in very weird, risque outfits. Like they always draw her with like the shortest skirts, and there is just weird just shots throughout this entire thing. This is not good at all. It starts to get good near the end until the part where Roy Harper, I forgot, I don't even remember what he is. He's some Green Arrow person. He gets together with Kara, and they always acknowledge that she is underage and he's a grown man, and they keep acknowledging it in the story. Why? I don't know. All in all, I would avoid this. I only picked it up because of the cover. It was Supergirl, and at the time I wanted to get more into it. Don't do that. Next one I have was one of my first Justice League. Actually, it may be my first Justice League comic. This was in the New 52, and this was sort of my introduction to this version of the Justice League. The art in it is very good. Very, very good. You see how this Justice League forms together, and it's just cool seeing like the bickering between Green Lantern, Batman, Superman, and just everybody coming together was very phenomenal. There was a movie, an animated movie that was based off of this comic. Does not do it justice, I feel. Like, it just doesn't compare to some of the artwork that's shown in it. I know it's probably not getting picked up, but this is what we're gonna be working with this, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, just all the character interactions were amazing. And one thing that they got rid of in the animated version of this was Aquaman. And this Aquaman is one of the core 7, but for some reason they wanted to exclude him, and he kind of was doing his own thing at the time. I thought it was kind of weird, thought it was lame. I haven't read this in years actually, but I remember just reading this over and over because it was that cool to me, and I just didn't have volume 2. And sometimes when I would used to buy stuff when I was younger, it would be like stories in the middle of runs. So I didn't know what was going on half the time, and this was an origin for it. So I knew what was going on, and it made sense, and it was awesome. Yeah, and at the end you could kind of see some of the concept art. Very cool. They have it for every single character. I need to reread this one, but all in all, I remember this being fire. Okay, these ones These Robin ones, let me see if I can get it. These Robin ones, I used to love these very much. I remember getting these in middle school. Especially, I read this first one all the time. I was a little confused in some of the parts. I don't know if just my brain wasn't functioning like it should. But beforehand, I was only really familiar with Robin from, you know, like Lego Batman and I don't know, Teen Titans Go and stuff like that. And that's not even this version of Robin. This is the Tim Drake one. And this one, I love this one. Like you see how Robin like operates on his own away from Batman. Like, of course you do get both of them doing stuff together, but like before this, I didn't know Robin was like going off on missions and doing stuff by himself. Honestly, I just kind of saw him like doing stuff with Batman, like actual sidekick stuff. Like he's a sidekick, but he has his own stuff going on, which I thought was cool rather than just having Batman in there. And you see how like badass Tim Drake is. A lot of people kind of ignore Tim Drake. They like Dick Grayson, which of course Dick Grayson is pretty cool. Jason Todd is just cool based off the fact that he's Red Hood and he dies, so that's also another thing. And then now there's Damian, and now the comics are focusing on Damian. I think Tim Drake was pretty cool, and he has a Fortnite skin now, so who's winning? Death in the Family has always been something I need to reread. I haven't read this since like probably 8th grade. At the time, I remember I didn't really like it, but I think if I go back now and read it, it'd be pretty cool. This is the one where, spoilers, Jason Todd dies. I don't even remember what happens in this, honestly. I remember he dies and then Batman's brooding, which is probably cool. It was pretty messed up because the way that he died was because the fans voted for him to die. So, I guess they hated Jason Todd back then. I need to give this a reread. I can't give you my honest opinion on this. It's been a while. And sort of like the last one, Batman The Long Halloween has been one of those ones that is like one of the most glazed Batman stories. You know, there's The Dark Knight, or what is it? The Dark Knight Rises, Long Halloween, Death in the Family. I don't know, is Hush, would you count that? I don't know. It's also been a while for these. These are some stories that I think have some actual intricate details in them that you would only understand once you got older. I remember this one. This was the one where people were dying on the holidays and Batman was trying to figure out like what was going on. Honestly, people talk about this one a lot, so I need to give this one a reread. It's been a long time, but the art in this is phenomenal. Honestly, it's not the most realistic, but just the way the colors, the line work, like these flats are amazing. Just like these, I don't know how to describe it, but these shots of it's like the colors, I don't know, it's just something about it. It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Look at the art on this. What is this? Jeff Loeb. Jeff Loeb is good. Joker. This one came out in a point in my life where I haven't reread it since. Just like some stuff happened and I like got this book that day. What happens in this? Oh, I think it's one of Joker's henchmen that are going around with Joker around like the city and they're seeing how he operates. The art is crazy. I don't know, but there's these specific like, let's see, like the way, I don't know, like it's so detailed and like the blacks are black. You know what I mean? The blacks are black. It's detail is crazy on these. I don't know. I'll decide if I want to put up pictures afterwards. I'm probably not, but this is the best you'll get, honestly. It's just, the art's amazing in this. I need to go back, but I don't know if I'm ready to confront my past. I got this for free. I think it might have been comic book day, or this is just one of the free ones they give you. None of this in here is an actual story. Essentially, it's just telling you, like, here, buy these. These are like the reading guides and everything. This is what you can buy. They got the price in here, 15, 15, 15. I liked when comics were 15 like this for the nice solid good ones. Nothing much. I didn't even go through this. I think I just put it away and I've had it ever since. I have no reason to read this unless I just went to see what was out at the time. It's okay. Okay, we got some Marvel stuff here. Ultimate Annuals. This was my younger brother's. He was like 4 at the time, and I think this has different stories from the Ultimate Universe at the time. It had Fantastic Four, it had Ultimate X-Men, it had Ultimate Spider-Man, and the Ultimates, which I'm pretty sure was just the Avengers team at the time. Never read it, but I know my brother didn't read it. I mean, some of the art in this is cool, but if I want to read the Ultimates, the Ultimate Universe, I guess I'll check this out. Next, we have Civil War. I read this a bunch. This comic is pretty fire. I'm not gonna lie. Captain America and Iron Man, of course, are butting heads. This one is better than the movie. I feel like the roster wise, because they had the full entire roster for this, and the MCU was like cut down very, very shortly. They had the Fantastic Four in here, they had the X-Men, they had Spider-Man. Well, Spider-Man was in the movie, but Spider-Man was on Captain America's team, because honestly, Spider-Man would not side with Iron Man. That's just different in the MCU. But people were dying in this. That's what I remember. People were dying. Like, people were getting hit over the head with bottles. Like, some fan favorites were getting just shot and killed and blown up. And it was like, what is going on? Thor comes back in this, he's revived. I didn't even know what was going on with Thor. They resurrected Thor to fight, and he was like this evil clone. And I don't know. I've been reading Uncanny X-Men, like all of it. I'm trying to get through the whole Claremont run. And so I hope afterwards I'll read this and some other stuff that I have to try and better understand. Because at the time it was like, I knew the Avengers, you know, I knew Spider-Man, I knew X-Men and Fantastic Four, but like, I didn't know anything about them. But now I'm trying to get into it. And this movie, I mean, this comic was elite. I'm not gonna lie. And just some of the artwork in this, like this spread of Jesus. This spread with Spider-Man and Iron Man. This like Spider-Man trying to decide which team he's gonna go on, and everything. It's just, read this, bro. But maybe beforehand, watch like a sort of recap guide beforehand to kind of really understand what's going on with each team at the time, because why was Thor dead? I don't know. Next for the Marvel event books was the Infinity Gauntlet. I'm not even gonna lie to you, when I read this for the first time, I was very confused why Hulk was talking. And this is before, like, I was still in middle school. I think this is before Ragnarok even came out. And I was like, why is he speaking full sentences? And I still honestly don't know. I'm not caught up with the Hulk lore like that. But this was a huge culmination of just everything. People were, Thanos was coming. Like, everybody was crashing down, and they were like, bro, we need to team up. It was the bad guys coming together with the good guys. And they were like, bro, this guy is a little too much of a menace. They had Doctor Doom fighting with Thanos and Thor. Imagine we saw that in Infinity War. If the MCU had all the characters from the start, I don't know if it would have been as successful. Like, I feel like they would have fumbled it some type of way. But if they did it right, the Infinity War and Endgame would have been one of the craziest movies of all time. It already is, like, when it comes to comic book movies and events and stuff like that. But if this one was properly done, bro, people would be, I don't even know. But yeah, Thanos in this one was a lot crazier. He was basically just killing everybody because he wanted to impress Lady Death. He wanted to get with Lady Death, and he wanted to kill half the universe. He was a little bit selfish in this one, but he is a petty character in the comics compared to the MCU, especially. Unless you kind of Endgame, when he was just like, okay, I'm gonna just wipe all y'all out. But that's a whole different topic. This one was good. Need to reread. Okay, and now I got some older ones, but I'm gonna go over one of them that's technically old, but it's not old, but it is. I have this amazing Spider-Man, the Compendium. This one has, I forgot how many even has in here. It has 40 something issues in here. This is all like the original Steve Ditko and Stan Lee Spider-Mans. It includes Amazing Fantasy 15. It has a lot. I'll just say that. The art in this is, you know, the classic 60s Ditko art. Honestly, it's pretty nice. It's honestly interesting just to see the origin. Honestly, there's not like too much crazy going on. It's sort of like villain of the week type of stuff where, you know, Spider-Man comes across like his enemies for the first time. Doc Ock, Electro, they got Mysterio and everything, and they sort of come back beforehand. But It's none of like the as iconic issues in stories like Death of Gwen Stacy and whatever. None of those, but it is really cool to see like where he came from and how like these characters evolved, because some stuff is very different in here, and there's a lot of they were just speaking a lot in this. They just loved talking in this. There were a lot of speech bubbles. But yeah, this is solid. I like seeing this on my my shelf. I did say I was gonna go through like the older stuff, but let me just go through sort of my single issues right now, and then we'll get to the old stuff. My bad. I remember for Christmas 2015, was it? Yeah, for Christmas 2015, my family got me this one called Shattered Empire, which was pretty much like just talking about the the remnants of the Empire. This was honestly just a lead up to The Force Awakens, and it was cool to see what the core characters were doing after Return of the Jedi. I'm not gonna lie to you, I kind of didn't like reading this at the time. 2015, that was like 10 years ago. I was young, because I wanted to solely focus on Luke or somebody with a lightsaber in the Force, but it was this lady. I don't remember her name, but she didn't have the Force. She was like an officer. And at the time, it was like, if you don't have the Force or your lightsaber, not cool. But now it's a little bit different. I can appreciate the non-Force users. This cover is clean and fire. Luke looking badass. Wasn't as badass in the sequels, but it's cool. Except that scene in The Last Jedi at the end. That was pretty fire. And then some of these are just like single issues that I picked up when I was younger. I kind of just bought them just cause, and I had no idea what like was happening in them, because they just be like this one, Hawkeye and Deadpool, or Hawkeye versus Deadpool, was issue 4. I didn't know what was going on. They were supposed to be fighting, but I don't even think they fought in this. It was just like them fighting somebody else. So I felt clickbaited. I'm not gonna lie. And this was $4. This was $4 for a single issue. This is like 15 pages. You see how floppy this is? Web Warriors, I remember picking this up just because it looked cool. This is like the Spider-Verse stuff before the movie came out. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, this was before the movie, because look, they're advertising Lego Avengers. This game came out in 2016. Honestly, couldn't tell you what happened in these. Like, again, I had issue 3 of this run, and then I had issue 11. I didn't know what was going on. I don't have a lot to say about these, so I'll just show them off. Avenging Spider-Man featuring She-Hulk in this issue. I remember this one. They were like in a bank or in a bank. What was it? Some art thing, and they were fighting. I guess She-Hulk has a tail in this. We've got Spider-Man in X-Men. What issue is this? Oh, it's number 1. I remember this. I think Spider-Man was at the school, the X-Men school, and he was teaching them, if I remember. It has Goop or Goob. If anybody knows about Goob or Goop, he's goated, basically. Have you seen that picture of him on the motorcycle? I'll pull it up. I don't even know what this is. The cover got ripped off. But it has Nova and Miss Marvel on it. So I'm assuming it's Young Avengers. It has Iron Man and Miles Morales in them. I think it's Young Avengers. The New Avengers. I guess they're new. The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 790. He's fighting, I don't even know who that is. I'm gonna just call him Soundwave. Why would I do that? I don't know. Covers are cool. I mean, I used to just pick these up because the covers look cool. Like this, The Invaders. What the hell is this? Is this mainline? This is not mainline. It can't be. I guess this is the timeline where the Avengers were colonizers. Okay, Cap. I have some DC stuff. This is Catwoman Annual 2. Okay. Don't keep in mind, I just don't know what happened in these. Catwoman, not the annual, but just Catwoman number 8. She's crashing through some glass or something. She was probably robbing something, because that's what Catwoman does. Some Flash stuff. I think this is Wally. This is the blue one. Is this the one that sits in the chair fighting Weather Wizard? What was that? He was in episode 1 of the Flash CW, right? Weather Wizard, him and his brother or something. I don't even remember. This is an ad for the game of the year edition for Arkham City. When was this? There's no way I got this in 2012. I guess I got this in 2012. Flashpoint, Kid Flash lost. I didn't even know he was in. Uh, there's too many things going on in these comics for me to know, especially if I'm picking up random issues. That's on me. I understand. It's number 3. He lost in Flashpoint. Oh God. Look what they're advertising on this. Green Lantern, 2011. What a day to be alive. Batman and Superman, they're on somebody's fingers, and there's a woman down there. I don't know. And then Justice League 3000, which I'm pretty sure is like DC's version of 2099, but I guess 1,000 years in the future instead of however many years into the future 2099 is. Okay, that was just like the complete random section. I didn't know what to talk about with those. I don't have any memories with these. I remember looking at the covers, and now they sit in a plastic bag. Now these are some of my, I would say my cooler ones. When I was in middle school, I had this guy, his dad, no, either his dad or his uncle had a bunch of vintage comic books from like the 70s and 80s. And we were talking about it, and he gave me a couple of them. And they're not in the best condition, especially since they've been sitting in a plastic bag past 10 years. But I think they're pretty cool to go over. This one is The Thing and She-Hulk. Pretty old, pretty cool. They team up, which is such an odd team up to me. The Thing and She-Hulk, were they like that cool on their own? And then the Avengers with Miss Marvel and the, I guess, Fantastic Four is in this one, and She-Hulk and Hank Pym. You know, what I've noticed, especially with these older volumes, She-Hulk was very, very popular in the 80s and 90s. It seems like 70s, 80s, 90s. And I think she just kind of got shafted in the past 20-ish years, because, especially after that show came out, because people don't like She-Hulk right now, which is, I think, sucks, because I think she's a cool character. And I haven't finished the show, but the first couple episodes I did watch weren't the worst. People were gassing it up. People were just pissed. You know how it is. Killer Frost versus Firestorm. I thought this one was so cool because at the time I was I was watching the CW Flash, like the first or second season. Whenever those came out, I was watching it. So what was that, 2014, 2015, 2016? I don't know. And I remember Firestorm and Killer Frost were both in it. And I was like, holy shit. There's a comic with both of them. And I don't remember what happens in this. This has been a long time. Justice League of America. In the All-Star Justice Society. Could not tell you what happened in this, but it looks like from the cover, Batman's dead, Hawkman's dead, Jay Garrick is dead, and who is that? The Atom? And it looks like some villains are at the bottom. That is not Groot. That is the Green Man on the spinach, right? He's the Green Man on the spinach. Superman and Firestorm are fighting Crisscross. What a villain. I don't know why Crisscross wasn't in the new Superman movie, because I think he would have been a fantastic addition. Apparently Superman and Firestorm had to go against him because he's that strong, apparently. Yeah, I don't, it's just, that's what it is. Avengers, Yellow Jacket no more. I only knew Yellow Jacket because of the Ant-Man movie. I kind of didn't care about him. He was the bald guy, right? That was Mark Strong. Was Mark Strong the guy who played, what's his name? Yellow Jacket? I don't remember. He was an alright villain, but it looks like he got eviscerated. And Thor, Hawkeye, and Captain America are like, damn, I guess something bad happened. Now, this one was my favorite. This came out like my peak enjoyment of the Flash CW series, and I just like fell in love with this. They had Dr. Fate in this one, and Jay Garrick was like on demon timing, pissed off because Flash's not Nora, oh my god, Iris passed away, and I guess it was like some type of thing with the Earths, and like he knew that Jay Garrick's girl would die, so Jay Garrick was on demon timing. He was coming, he was talking to Barry, and he was like, yo, what are you doing? You should have let me know. It was some I don't know, I forgot if this led into Crisis on Infinite Earths or not, but this one was pretty cool. And on the back of this one, look, they have an old Lego sets challenge that you can do, which is pretty cool. I guess you could get in the magazine. Nice, but The Flash, what issue is this? What does that say? Issue 305? I remember liking this a lot. Okay, so these next ones that I have mean a lot. A lot. The Walking Dead comic book. I have the first one, second one. These are big. The third one, and the fourth one. Okay, I have every single Walking Dead comic. And here's Negan. This is the introduction to Negan. The way I got into the Walking Dead was one night. I think I was maybe 11. I think it was Christmas. Christmas? It was Halloween, and my parents were like, "Do you want to go out for trick or treating?" And I was like, I don't know. And so we stayed in, and then we were looking for something to watch, something scary. And I was like, "Hey, you guys want to watch The Walking Dead?" And we watched The Walking Dead, and that was my shit. I had the covers, I had posters, I had calendars. All I would talk about and do was The Walking Dead. This series was amazing to me. And so I found out in middle school that there were the comic books, and apparently the comics were a lot better than the show. And I already loved the show, so I was like, there is no way they could be better. Is better. There are so many decisions in the show that they had to make for some external reasons that affect the story that is supposed to go down in this. I'm not gonna get too far into it because I don't want to spoil you, but damn, how do I even talk about it? Everything about this story is phenomenal. They decide that for this, they don't want to do any color for it, which I think is just like a good choice. Everything in this is bleak and everyone's dying and all the characters are like so fucked up in their own way. It's just amazing. And the thing is with this, as the story goes on, the characters get older. They just get older. Like Carl, Rick's son, starts off like this little boy, and then by the end, he's grown, bro. I mean, yeah, he's grown. He's on the cover. Okay, if you saw the covers, you would know he's alive. He's grown. But I just love this, man. I love this. The characters are amazing. Rick is so badass, and there are just certain things that happen in there that they couldn't do in the show because of budget, or they wanted to host somebody's income, so they want to kick them off the show, so they kill him. There's some characters that are in the show that don't even exist in the comics at all. Actually, Daryl is one of The Walking Dead's like most favorite characters. That's not even in the comics, which is slightly a shame, but the story, just everything else in it, I think it just trumps just like, okay, we can afford not to have Daryl in the comic. There are just so many shocking parts in this. That's how I can like explain it. If you wanted to get into any comic series that is just a like straight shot, I know I've already talked about how sometimes comics are hard to get into because there's so many different branching paths. This is just one story. So you start from issue 1 and you go to whatever issue, what did it end with? It was like 90 or 100 something, but it's worth it, bro. It's worth it. And the thing that I find funny about it is Robert Kirkman, the same guy who did Invincible, by the way, he ended this off without telling anybody he was gonna end it off. Like to the general audiences, one day he was just like, he dropped the last chapter and they didn't know what it was gonna be, and he just said, yeah, this is the last one, by the way. Just cause he didn't want to like prepare anybody. He was just like, yeah, let's just get it over with. It's done. And it concluded very like well. I think that's an issue that the show is having right now. I haven't watched since like season 8, but I keep seeing all the spinoffs they're doing. Daryl is in like Spain now. He's in Spain. Why are you in Spain? I don't know. But I mean, if it's good, it's good. But I think the way that they ended off in here, there's so much I have to talk about with this, but I want to reread this. It's been too many years, but it's amazing. One thing that I will say about it is the art style changes like pretty early on in the first compendium, but it's more cartoony. It's more cartoony in the beginning, but just like one chapter they change it so it does look more gritty, which fits the story overall. So I understand why they changed it. But for the first few chapters, it's just kind of like, this is The Walking Dead. But besides that, like, I love this series. This series is amazing. Please read this. please read this. Buy it if you can. If you can't, you know what to do. Ultimate praise. Also, here's Negan one. This is like a little side story about his origin, and we actually see it. Pretty cool. What a character. I hate this guy. You know what's good when a show makes you like love that you hate somebody. You know what I mean? There's sometimes there's characters that are just annoying, and like that maybe like their intention was to be annoying, but it's like you're more pissed off at the show including them rather than them serving a purpose. And yeah, he serves his purpose in this story, and I hate him, and I love that I hate him, because he is just top number. You need to get this guy out of here. That's kind of how I feel about him. But yeah, Walking Dead in general, I love it, bro. I love it. This is the last one I have. Another Robert Kirkman, Invincible Compendium 1. There are 3 of these, pretty thick, just like the Walking Dead ones. I think. Does that look thicker? Which one's thicker? This one, right? Yeah. So it's even bigger than that one. Let me see how many pages is in this first one. Okay, there's no page number. You'll never know. Probably just look at the Amazon listing. It's on there. I only got this after I watched the first season, because that first season was really good, and I haven't gone back afterwards, which I need to, but it just hasn't happened. I read up to where it stopped in the show because I kind of enjoyed the show, and I didn't want to spoil myself, even though I know there were like certain changes that occurred in it. I just didn't want to have the general like overlay of what happens in the story. I remember in 6th grade, I actually read the first issue of this, but I didn't finish it. And at the time I wanted to like get more into Marvel and DC. So I was like, for some reason I was like, this is a whole different universe. Like I thought it was like weird. I thought it was only cool to be Marvel and DC. And I'm kind of mad at myself for not hopping on the train early on, because then that's flexing rights. But I guess I'll watch the other 2 seasons. I think they're on season 3 right now, right? Or they're coming out with season 4 at this point. Yeah. And then I'll read this because this is pretty good. This is pretty good. There's some differences, but overall, what I read was pretty good. Even though I only read like a sliver. It's only like maybe like 50, 60 pages is the first season, and this has like a couple hundred. So I don't know how they're gonna get through the whole story, beyond me. But I guess it'll be going for a while. So that's pretty much all my comics done. I may have some in different bins and stuff throughout the house, but I guess these are the main ones that I decided to have out here. So yeah, it's probably the most important ones, unless I have some, I know I have some big nates somewhere, but I mean, if I'm gonna do another video, it's gonna be about all my childhood books that I used to read a lot, and I'll just put that in there. Big Nate, I'm sorry. But yeah, so now I have the manga. I remember I started getting into manga maybe like 6th, 7th grade. Like some of these that I had beforehand, I had like in elementary school beforehand, because my dad like kind of put me on Marvel and DC. But for the manga stuff, you know what, let me show this one, because it'll make more sense. So it's kind of dusty, but this is my Naruto book set. You can get these off of Amazon. I don't know what they're going for now. I don't know if they're even available now. This has the first volume up to volume 27. So this first one is all of original Naruto. This is not Shippuden or anything. And it's in this very nice little box with all of them. And I love these. But basically, I think it was 6th grade, people just started talking about anime. Like I knew what it was because of Dragon Ball. My dad would watch it like on, I think it was Adult Swim. I knew what Dragon Ball was, but people were talking about Attack on Titan and Naruto, and I kept hearing Naruto over and over and over, and I had to know what they were talking about, right? So I remember I went to Netflix, and I started that show. In that first episode, that did it, bro. Naruto is, I would say, is my first like big anime I watched. I was hooked. OG Naruto Part 1 is, I think, if you're looking at pure story, in the show there is the filler episodes that kind of muddy it a bit, but if you're going pure story, Naruto Part 1 is like, it's up there. Like, that's something about it is just done so well. Every single arc, like whatever the waves arc, the very first one was like just such a great introduction to like see how the story is gonna go. Zabuza, Haku, come on. And what was next after that? Tuning exams? Oh my god, just amazing. So I remember for Christmas one year, I wanted the book set because I wanted to read it after I finished the show. Let me try to get it out here. But these covers, these earlier ones are like, you could just see like how Kishimoto's artwork just like transitioned into what it is now. I'll show you, I'm gonna show you the first one versus the last one. How about that? Well, this is the first one in part 1, and then the not the last one because the last one has Sasuke on it, but this is the 2 Naruto ones, so you can see the just like the artwork in these are amazing. Honestly, I think it's very underrated how consistent Kishimoto was, especially later on, bro. Like this collage of just of everything that's happened in the story so far. Come on, bro. This artwork is just beyond. It's beyond. Damn, I love this series, bro. Pretty much, yeah, I got this Naruto box sets. I love this. I'm never getting rid of this unless it gets stolen. Then I guess it will be getting rid of. But you're not touching this. I also got the second book set for which covers the first half of Shippuden, the sequel series to Naruto, or Naruto Part 2. You know how it is. These ones, compared to the other ones, have these black spines, which look very good. Very, very good. Kishimoto, I don't know if he was on crack or something, like drawing these, but just the covers, straight off, like I could spend hours looking at these covers and talking about these covers. Just like, bro, this Sasuke Itachi, this is one of the thickest volumes that they have in this, because the role Kishimoto was on from like the Asuma and Kakuzu stuff to the Pain, that role was that incredible, and all the art, like, it was fire, bro. I need to read these again. I need to consume Naruto again. There's so much I can talk about when it comes to this series. It's just gonna have a special place in my heart, always. The thing is, there is one more book set after this, which is the second half of Shippuden that I do not have, but it's been on my list for a while because I just want to have the whole series. I want to have them on a shelf, all of them laid out, because it's incredible. But what I will say when it comes to Shippuden, second half of Shippuden, not as good as the first half. It's still good, not as good personally. I think if the second half of Shippuden was as solid as the first half, it would be leagues. It would be leagues above part 1. But I think just consistency, part 1 is there. Shippuden sometimes has dips in it quality wise, but like overall, Shippuden is pretty fire. I just remember the whole war arc was, especially watching it was kind of crazy. That was like 250 episodes, so something crazy. Which I shouldn't be complaining about because I watched all of One Piece, but 250 episodes for 2 days? Come on, bro, chill out. Just look at this cover. Just look at this. Come on. There's a lot better ones too. That's the crazy part. I may be glazing. But yeah. Amazing series. Please get into it if you can. Please get into it. People talk down on this show, which I understand in some parts. It's not the best, but overall, great package. If you want to get into any big anime, I would start off with Naruto. Honestly, I haven't completed Bleach. I'm caught up to One Piece, but I think something about this is just it's a little different. While I'm on the sort of big 3-ish, I guess Dragon Ball isn't big 3, but I have the first 2 volumes of the original Dragon Ball, which is honestly a pretty fun read. Usually when people think of Dragon Ball, they think of the Super Saiyans and the power-ups and the transformations and everything. This was before then. This is when Goku was younger. He is still training and everything, but it's just a different side that you don't see. Dragon Ball has been going for what, almost 40 years now, so it's kind of changed completely in sort of the way it feels. But these early ones are pretty charming. I think I have left the second one somewhere else. But honestly, I'm really enjoying this one, and I wanted to. I thought that was a spy. It was a piece of dust. I'm really enjoying these, and I don't know too much about OG Dragon Ball, anyways. I know a lot about Dragon Ball Z because everyone talks about Dragon Ball Z. Like, if you don't know anything about Dragon Ball Z, you're lying to yourself, because you do. You know what Super Saiyan 1, 2, 3, 4. There's no 5. But you stop acting like you don't know what Dragon Ball Z is. But Dragon Ball, I guess maybe I'm just out of the loop, but pretty dope. This is the entire Death Note manga in one. In high school, we were tasked with reading a book and doing like an analysis or something like that. The thing is, me and a couple of my friends, we didn't want to actually read a book, which sounds pretty bad, but we kind of got approval to do some different manga and whatnot. And I did Death Note, and this is small and thick. Like, this is not something you're meant to read. I didn't even read the whole thing. I got like halfway through maybe. Phenomenal story from what I did read. Death Note is one of like the top anime people talk about for a reason. I heard it kind of falls off near the end, but if you stop reading at a certain point, 100%, the artwork is very good. But these pages in this book specifically are very, very thin. You could tell like this is more of a novelty, something you put on a shelf rather than something you're meant to read. So it kind of sits on my shelf, and it's a cool thing to like be like, hey, I own this. But if you want to read this, read it online or just watch the anime. Don't do this because it's pretty inconvenient when this book is halfway wide open and it's too thick. But that's what I paid for, because I wasn't gonna pay 80 bucks. I think I got this for 30, maybe. I wasn't gonna pay 80 bucks for the separate volumes like I did with the Naruto one. Too much money. But this one, pretty cool. So this one is less of a manga, but it's rather a storyboard for the MFKZ movie. If anybody has seen this, the animation and everything surrounding the movie, really good. The movie itself had interesting concepts, but I think if they made it into a TV show, it had more time to flesh out the characters, it would have been a lot better, because they rushed through a lot of things. Too much. They were skipping like lore reasons, so they would just bring things up and they were like, oh yeah, I was born like this or whatever. And it's the climax of the movie, and it's like, okay, if you maybe mentioned this earlier, you would have known this, but there was a lot of stuff going on earlier. But it's like, at that point, if you can't condense it into a movie, maybe you should have made it a series. But I understand there's budget cuts, stuff happened, studio interference. This is not a movie review. This is the manga, or the storyboard. So it basically has the entire storyboard of the movie with all the notes and the sketches used, all in Japanese, unfortunately, for me at least, because I don't know what they're saying half the time. But it is also a good like thing to have. It's just cool. I got this in SF at like this manga shop. Pretty cool. I like this. I can't read it, but looking at the pictures, it's pretty cool. Okay, the last thing I have to show is Berserk. These Berserk deluxe editions are maybe some of the best quality books that I have ever gotten. These ones have like this leather texture on the front. You open it up, the pages are nice and big. Look at that artwork. The to the touch is nice and smooth. It's not like that cheap paper. The artwork is everything. The story. Look, I only have 6 of these big deluxe edition volumes, but this story is insane. People talk about Berserk, rightfully so. I've seen people talk about the anime. Don't watch the anime. Read this. The art in this is crazy. The story is crazy. This is one of the most insane things I've ever read in my life. Rightfully so. Also, content warning for this. The first page is literally search it up. I can't even show it on there, but I have issue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, think of this, but 2 times. I got those. They sit really nice on the shelf. I will admit they sit really nicely on the shelf. I've been actually just collecting these physically because I liked reading them physically. They are of really supreme quality, I should say. Everything about this series, just amazing surrounding it, honestly. I want to go through them again, get the rest of them, because I think they're on like volume 14 now. At the time they were only at 6, so I'm a little far behind, and I've only heard good things about the series. Only good things. Have you ever heard anybody talk shit about Berserk? No. If you have, you may have a hater. It's one thing to say you might not like it as much, but to say it's ass? Come on, bro. Chill out. Dude, the way how big this book is and how quality the art is, and nothing is grainy, and you just see like him in guts, and just read this, bro. If you get a chance, read this. And if you ever do get the other chance, get these and put these on your shelf, because it'll look really nice. And these are going for like $50 something at Barnes and Nobles. Don't get these at Barnes and Nobles. I was ordering these off of Amazon for like 32 bucks. Get them off of Amazon, because don't waste $20 extra. But yeah, that's all I got for Berserk. Solid series. I'd recommend it. Honestly amazing. So that's pretty much all I have for the manga. I'm not gonna lie, I read most of my stuff digitally. A lot of the times when I'm getting manga, I want to get like the big book sets, like that. So I just gotta find something special that I feel is worth the money. Like I put money into the Berserk ones, the Naruto ones. I want that other Naruto book set. I'm gonna get the One Piece ones, but I think there's like 4 or 5 of those out right now, which is insane because there's only 3 Naruto ones, and that's 720 chapters. And I think One Piece is, are we almost on 1150? I think we might almost be to 1200 at this point. And that's still ongoing. So I might want to start getting the book sets now while I can. Yeah, but I mean that's pretty much all I have for the manga. Overall, yeah, that's what I have in my little collection that I keep up here at the front under my TV, under my television. That's what I see when I go to sleep every night. Just these sort of lined up, looking nice. A lot of them I've read a couple times. Some of them I haven't read a lot, or as much as I should. Of course, I have some other things lying around the house somewhere in boxes, in the garage or something from when we moved. But like, this is the main stuff. This is what you'll get. So if you enjoyed this, if you ever want to check any one of these out, do so. I think a lot of these are cool. Besides that Supergirl one, I do not like that one at all. They weird artist and writer, but that's a topic for another day. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you liked and want to subscribe, and deuces.